Welcome back to another episode of the Hero's Journey podcast. We are on episode 25. I am your host, Nick. The experts will tell you that about 25 episodes of a podcast is what it takes in order for you to find your voice. I'd like to think I found my voice, found a good format for the show. If you've been watching from the start, or certainly if you haven't, I recommend you go back and see what kind of a disaster I was running back on those first episodes. I'd like to think we've come a long way. Things are getting better each episode. Audio equipment's better, the presentations are better, the descriptions, talking about the comics, we've got it down to 10 comics per week now. I think we're doing really well. All right, that being said, let us move on to looking at the comics for the week. I don't want to keep people from too long jibber jabbering. Okay, so first up we have Master Comics number 46 is from Fawcett, January 1944. Nice winter scene, wholesome, it's great. It's a fun cover, not very exciting by any means. But in the Captain Marvel Jr. story, he tangles with a cloud giant when a tall beanstalk angers him. And the giant has a magic goose that can lay golden eggs and throw bombs. So, yeah, it's quite the goose. There was a recent CGC 6.5 sale from May of 2020 for $235. And there's only 9 of these on the census. Now, this is a brand new series. It's Miss America Comics number 1 from Timely, 1944. Nice pose there on the cover, looks great. In the first story, Japanese prisoners escape U.S. prison camps and plan some suicide bombings that only Miss America can stop. Next story, Miss America tracks some missing men to a remote castle where a scientist is experimenting on them and turning them into monsters to do his bidding. And finally, Miss America stumbles onto a scheme by a yogi to extort money from people by threatening that their loved ones will be killed if they don't pay up. If they don't pay for more sessions and seances and whatever, the loved ones will be killed. And in this, a yogi was what we would term a medium or a psychic. Now, this was really the only issue of this particular series because the series continues in Miss America magazine number 2. There was a recent CGC sale from 2.5 from March 2019 for $2,850. Now that's a huge sale for a low grade book. I would say you don't see a lot of those. I didn't see a lot of sales for this book. Like most recent one is over a year and a half ago. You're wondering why this isn't the big book of the week. I gotta say it was really close with the book that did end up becoming the big book of the week. But we'll see that coming up. After that, we have More Fun Comics number 95. This is from DC, January, February 1944. Got Green Arrow and Speedy on the cover, trying to tip a boat. Seems like why not? It's like a fun way to do it. I don't know if the laws of physics will allow you to do that specifically, but why not? We'll let them try it. Green Arrow and Speedy uncover a scheme to fool wealthy businessmen into buying an island for many times its actual worth. Dr. Fate finds that a matchbox is the main clue to uncovering the murderers of a butler. Aquaman gets caught in a Japanese net on a Chinese river and learns of an impending attack against Allied territory, and then helps guerrilla fighters defeat the Japanese army. Johnny Quick sorts out a 30-year-old bank robbery and reunites lost loves. The Spectre and Percival Pop discover that trucks of books are stolen to find a hidden letter written by Shakespeare. It's not often you see trucks of books being stolen. It was a recent CGC 9.0 sale from March 2017 for $1,817. No real recent sales for this book. After that, you have National Comics number 38. That's from Quality, January 1944. Adolf Hitler cover with Hirohito and Mussolini, Uncle Sam on the cover there. I was reading the Quicksilver story, and he investigates when Nazis poison and shoot cattle to diminish the food supply in the U.S. A lot of these stories, Nazis trying to stop production, trying to weaken North America, specifically the U.S. That's how a lot of the story, they feature very prominently. Those themes feature very prominently in these stories. You have a recent CGC 6.5 sale from October 2019 for $360. After that, we have Police Comics number 26, Quality, January 1944. Fun Plastic Man cover. I do have a soft spot for Plastic Man. I like the goofy characters. I can't help it. FBI chief discovers that Plastic Man is common thief Eel O'Brien. And if you remember his origin, he was a thief, turned into Plastic Man, and then decided to change his ways. So in this issue, Plastic Man must close 3 tough cases in a week in order to prove that he has changed his stripes. Human Bomb helps fix a motor for a man that invents dangerous robots. And then the Human Bomb has to put an end to them. There's a recent CGC 7.5 sale from May 2019 for $336. Again, a soft spot for Plastic Man. This seems low to me. After that, we have Sensation Comics number 25 from DC, January 1944. Interesting cover. Not my favorite. Again, I do like the line work as always, but yeah, it doesn't speak to me in terms of the what's going on in the cover. Wonder Woman travels to the astral plane to find out who is kidnapping sleeping souls and making them do their bidding. Mr. Terrific puts an end to a con man scheme where he makes certain that he always wins any bet that he makes. After the Yellow Wasp breaks out of prison, Wildcat and Stretch Skinner must stop a crime spree by him, his gang, and his wasps. You have a recent CGC 4.5 sale from December of 2020 for $1,100. What's interesting is that so you have a 4.5 CGC 4.5 that sold in December. So this is being recorded in December, as you can maybe see by the Christmas decorations in the back there. But the sale was for $1,100 for 4.5. Oddly enough, an 8.0 sold in March of this year for $810. Is the 4.5 sale an anomaly? Is this the trend for this issue? I don't see this as being key. I mean, Yellow Wasp is in it, sure. Not a crazy huge villain. Wildcat's not a prominent character, so it's not really a villain that you'll feature prominently in the DC universe, but he does make appearances. Not his first appearance, though. Mr. Terrific's in it. Wonder Woman's in it. Okay. But 4.5 for $1,100 over an 8.0 that sold for $810. That's a big jump. You have Star Spangled Comics number 28 is from DC, January 1944. I gotta say, this is probably one of the better Star Spangled Comics covers that I've seen in terms of excitement, action, things going on. The faces seem to be drawn fairly well. I mean, the proportions make sense. It's great. I actually appreciate that this issue exists over the rest of the run so far. So we do have some stories. So the Guardian and Newsboy Legion get ambushed when they attempt to stop gangsters and Nazis that blackmail the Night Watchman so they can blow up a gas plant. So some thugs and Nazis try to blow up a gas plant. They're blackmailing the Night Watchman in order to do that. Star Spangled Kid is almost taken out by Stripesy when Mr. Gadget hypnotizes him. So Mr. Gadget's back. He's kind of a fun villain. I like it. To be honest, it actually makes me enjoy the Star Spangled Kid stories a lot more because there's a decent villain in it. Actually, to go back to the Guardian story, what happens is the Night Watchman received a letter saying that he would inherit tons of money, and so he told everyone in the neighborhood to just kind of go suicide slum, to go and buy whatever they wanted, go to the candy stores, go to the stores and whatever, groceries, and just buy whatever you want. The tab's on him. Well, about a week later, it turns out that the thugs had sent him that letter as a forgery, and now he owed all this money, and they were going to turn him in if he didn't pay it all back, or if they'll pay off the money to give him a cut of the job they were going to pull. at the gas plant and then blow it up, and then he could pay back all the money. They were blackmailing him so that he would do it, go along with the plan. Anyway, so that's the background on that one. All right, jumping down to Liberty Bell. Liberty Bell gets involved when some Nazis attempt to take over a conference and take hostages. Robot Man has to set a rich banker straight when the head of a mob fools him into showing the mob how to easily rob houses. So they had a friendly bet going on. The rich banker thought that he was robbing houses and just showing him, hey, this is how you could do it. I mean, they don't want to actually do it, but this is how you could do it. And it turns out that the mobsters were actually robbing the houses based on his advice. You have a recent CGC 9.6 sale from May of 2015 for $3,346. That's the most recent sale I could find. Again, 9.6 lasting almost 80 years. Very impressive. I wonder what that comic would sell for today in that grade. Got a great cover. No real key here in terms of the stories or the characters. Nothing new specifically. We got Robot Man, Liberty Bell, Star Spangled Kid, Striped Seashore, Guardian, Newsboy Legion. A lot of good characters in there. And it's a 9.6 with a great cover. So, I mean, it's Golden Age, so maybe it's a good draw. Superman number 26 is from DC, January, February 1944. Nice patriotic type cover. I assume that's a Liberty Bell on the cover. Anyway, so Superman helps a daredevil get his nerve back to save his son from thugs. So we got a daredevil got in a motorcycle accident. And he lost his nerve, and in the end, he gets it back so he could save his son. Superman helps him along the way. After that, Superman stars in a funny movie to help some comedians try to stage a comeback. He must step up when a con man, Wilbur Wolfingham, tries to ruin the production. So this is the first appearance of Wilbur Wolfingham. Apparently he'll be back in some other episodes. He's in some other issues in the series. He's a bit of a con man and recurring character. Superman does the bidding of a lazy boy who is blackmailing him into keeping a secret, and then he gives his life to save Lois Lane. So in the end, the lazy boy becomes a hero after he blackmailed Superman, kind of killed him off at the end, unfortunately. The secret that he was keeping, just tell you, Superman found out that a successful banker was originally an embezzler under a different name in a different city, and Superman put it together that these two people were the same people. Anyway, so he confronted him, and turns out that this embezzler had paid back the money and felt really badly and donated to a lot of charities and really helped a lot of people along the way, and worked his way up in the bank from being a lowly clerk to the bank president. Superman said, hey, you made a mistake 15 years ago. I'm not going to punish you for it. But this lazy boy overheard it, and he was blackmailing Superman to keep that secret. But the lazy boy gave his life to save Lois Lane in the end. So he was made amends for blackmail. So everyone's making amends in this issue. And Superman clips the wings of Mercury, who is the god of speed and friend to thieves, after he wakes from centuries of slumber to cause mischief. So this issue, I gotta say, not a lot of depth in terms of the stories specifically, like really some kind of, human interest type stories. He's helping a daredevil. He helped some comedians. He was blackmailed by a lazy guy. I mean, really the only thing that had any sort of real action was when he was going up against Mercury, the god of speed and friend to thieves. But even then, it was kind of brief. And anyway, so you have a recent CGC 1.8 sale from December 2020 for $380. So, I mean, I wanted to give a comparison. Such a low grade. A 6.0 sold in November 2020 for $1,700. And then we have USA Comics number 11, Timely, January 1944. This is, you have a Sid Shore cover, so lots of action. I don't like Captain America's face. Bucky looks very serious. Usually he's more happy-go-lucky kind of guy. Torture. Is this red dress distress? Sure, let's call it that. I'm going to call it that. You got kind of headlights, bondage, great cover. Lots going on. In the stories, Captain America and Bucky investigate a murder, find Nazis, imposters, and torture, all in a bid to steal Allied invasion plans. Whizzer is tasked with keeping an eye on a shipment of $5 million, but always seems to be a few steps behind the criminals who have planned to hijack the cargo. Whizzer, I read his stories. It's a dumb name, but I have a soft spot for the speedsters. So, Flash, Whizzer, Quicksilver. These guys in the speedsters, the day that I'm reading about. A recent CGC 1.8 sale from December 2020 for $1,250. Again, low sale, low grade sale for a high price. This came close to also being the book of the week. So a lot of heavy hitters this week. A lot of books that are commanding big dollars in low grades even. Maybe tough to find. Finally, we have Wonder Woman number 7 is from DC. It's the winter 1944 issue. Look at that, Wonder Woman for president. Who wouldn't want that, right? So in this one, Wonder Woman uses the magic sphere to look 1,000 years into the future and sees herself stop an assassination attempt on the American president by an escaped convict. Then Wonder Woman looks further into the future and sees herself becoming president of the United States herself after she originally lost the election to Steve Trevor, who was backed by crooks who rigged the votes. Goodness. And then there's the Wonder Woman of History feature. This one featured Joan of Arc. And the next Wonder Woman story, further into the future, still president of the United. Further into the future, still with Diana still president of the United States, she puts an end to a violent uprising in one of the nation's sectors. I gotta say, that wasn't the best grammar with the still and still, but they had the two kind of different meanings. Whatever. Grammar police can get on me if they want in the comments. And then, looking again in the magic sphere, only 20 years into the future this time, Wonder Woman sees that Paula Van Gunther's daughter is headed down a dangerous path and has to change her course in the present. So now I've had to underline because my new font that I'm using is in bold already, so we're using underline. A recent CGC 0.5 sale from December of 2020 for $1,440. So this was very close to the Miss America Comics, which is also close to the USA Comics 11. This one narrowly beat it out, and the only reason I would say it did is because there was a lot more action and sales going on with this one, a lot more sales history, a lot more on the census. So it's a more sought after book from what I could see, because there's more supply, but there seems to be more demand. So I tip the scales in its favor because of the demand for this book. So that's it for this week, kids. I hope you enjoyed the show. Another 10 issues down. We're into January 1944, working our way through. And that's it. I hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. Thank you, and take care.